Male reproductive tract. To start, I'll talk about the path of the sperm. First of all, sperm is produced in testes. The testes are the male gonads which produce sex hormones and sperm. These are divided into compartments called lobules, which contain the seminiferous tubules. Inside these tubules is where spermatogenesis occurs. We can also find interstitial cells which secrete androgens. The most important one is the testosterone. Then, the sperm goes and matures in the epididymis. The epididymis is a tube that connects a testicle to a vas deferens in the male reproductive system. It is present in all birds and mammals and reptiles, and in male adults is a single narrow tightly coiled tube that goes from 6 to 7 meters. When a sperm is finished maturing, they enter the vas deferens, where they are stored. Each of these passes into the abdominal cavity where it curves around the urinary bladder and empties into the ejaculatory duct. In here we can also find the ampulla, which will function as a storage chamber of the sperm. During ejaculation, sperm leaves the penis as semen. The seminal vesicles, the prostaglands, and the bulbourethral gland add secretions to the semen. The seminal vesicles add fructose, proteins, citric acid, inorganic phosphorus, potassium, and prostaglandins. The prostagland adds the prostatic fluid, and the bulbourethral gland is the one who produces the pre-ejaculatory liquid, which is an alkaline mucus. The seminal vesicle lies at the base of the bladder, and each has a duct that joins with a vas deferens. The prostate gland is a single donut-shaped gland that surrounds the upper part of the urethra, just below the urinary bladder, and the bulbourethral glands are pea-sized organs that lie below the prostate on either side of the urethra. To the penis. The penis is the male organ for sexual intercourse. It has a long shaft and a large tip called the glans penis. When the sexual stimulation intensifies, a sperm enters the urethra from the vasa deferentia, and the accessory glands contribute secretion to the semen. Once in the urethra, muscle contraction causes the semen to be ejaculated in spurts. During this process, the sphincter in the urinary bladder, which is the storage for urine, closes so that no urine enters the urethra or the semen enters the bladder. Then we have the exterior organs, which are the penis, the scrotum, the testes, and the epididymis. The penis, more specifically, has a shaft that has a spongy, erectile tissue with extensible blood spaces. When a man is sexually excited, the artery relaxes and expands, increasing blood pressure, which makes the penis to erect. Which the penis, as mentioned before, is a male organ for sexual intercourse, and is also the way from which urine is eliminated from the body. Then we have the scrotum, that regulates the temperature of the testes by holding them closer or farther from the body heat. And we have the testes and the epididymis, which function and form has already been. Now passing to the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. The hypothalamus controls the function of the testes. It secretes a hormone called gonadotropin-releasing hormone, which stimulates the anterior pituitary to secrete the follicle-stimulating hormone FSH and the luteinizing hormone LH. The FSH promotes the production of sperm in the seminiferous tubules, and the LH promotes the production of testosterone. All these hormones are then controlled by a negative feedback.
The female reproductive system consists of various organs. The fallopian tube, a slender tube through which eggs pass from an ovary to the uterus. In a female reproductive tract, there is one ovary and one fallopian tube on each side of the uterus. The uterus, the hollow pear-shaped organ in a woman's pelvis. The uterus is where a fetus develops and grows. The myometrium, the muscular outer layer of the uterus. The endometrium, the layer of tissue that lines the uterus. The perimetrium, the outer serosal layer of the uterus. The cervix, the lower narrow end of the uterus that forms a canal between the uterus and the vagina. The vagina, the muscular canal that goes from the uterus to the outside of the body. During sex, the penis is inserted in the vagina, and during childbirth, the child passes through it. The oocyte is a female gametocyte or germ cell involved in the reproduction. In other words, it is an immature ovum or egg cell. An oocyte is produced in the ovary during female gametogenesis. The female germ cell produces a primordial germ cell, which then undergoes the mitosis, forming oogonia. The first step in which the oocyte is placed in the uterus is the capture of the ovulated egg by the uterine tube. Shortly before ovulation, the epithelial cell of the uterine tube becomes more highly ciliated, and smooth muscular activity in the tube and its suspensory ligaments increase as the result of hormonal influences. By ovulation, the thin barrier of the uterine tube becomes closer to the ovary and seems to sweat rhythmically over its surface. When inside the uterine tube, the egg is transported towards the uterus, mainly as the result of the contraction of the smooth musculature of the tubal wall. The tubal transport of the egg usually takes between 3 to 4 days. The female genitalia consists of many elements: the labia minora, the labia majora, the vaginal entrance, the hymen, the vestibule, the urethra opening, the posterior fourchette, the glans of the clitoris, and the pipus of the clitoris. The hypothalamus is a structure of the diencephalon of the brain located anterior and inferior of the thalamus. It has both neutral and endocrine functions, producing and secreting many hormones. On the other hand, the posterior pituitary gland does not produce hormones, but rather store and secrete hormones produced by the hypothalamus. During puberty, the hypothalamus produces gonadotropin-releasing hormone (GnRH), which stimulates the production and release of the follicle-stimulating hormone (FSH) and luteinizing hormone (LH) from the anterior pituitary gland. These hormones regulate the gonad ovaries in female and therefore are called gonadotropin. FSH stimulates gamete production and LH stimulates production of the hormone by the gonads. An increase in gonad hormone levels inhibits GnRH production through a negative feedback loop. In female, FSH stimulates development in egg cells called ova, which develop in a structure called follicles. Follicle cells produce the hormone inhibin, which inhibits FSH production. The ovarian cycle consists of the follicular phase, the ovulation, and the luteal phase. The follicular phase is the phase of the estrous cycle during which follicles in the ovary mature. The main hormone controlling this stage is estradiol. The ovulation is the release of eggs from the ovaries. This event occurs when the ovarian follicle ruptures and releases the secondary oocyte ovarian cells. After ovulation, during the luteal phase, the egg will be available to be fertilized by sperm. In addition, the uterine lining endometrium is taken to be able to receive a fertilized egg. During the luteal phase, it begins with the formation of the corpus luteum and ends in either pregnancy or luteolysis, the degradation of corpus luteum. The main hormone associated with this stage is progesterone, which is significantly higher during the luteal phase than any other phase in the cycle. The female hormones estrogen and progesterone are produced by the ovaries during the ovarian cycle, affects the endometrium, causing the uterus to undergo the chronic changes known as the uterine cycle.
The birth control methods. Most of the methods presented in this chart are hormonal birth control methods besides the abstinence. First, we have the IUD, which is the intrauterine device. It's a piece of T-shaped plastic. There are two types of IUDs available. One is covered with copper and the other one releases the hormone progestin. This prevents pregnancy by not allowing the sperm to fertilize the egg. It can last up to 3 to 12 years. Now we have the birth control pill, which is a daily pill that contains hormones to change the way body works and prevents pregnancy. They have to be taken daily by 21 days, and the day you stop taking them, you get your period. Their cost varies from $0 to $50 depending on what clinic you get it. Then we have the birth control shot, which is an injection that is given to the girl every 3 months to help prevent pregnancy. And it is important to say that this is not very effective. Well, it has an effectiveness of 94%, but a 6% of chance of getting pregnant is way too much in this topic. This doesn't prevent the girl from getting STDs. The birth control patch is a thin beige square patch that sticks to the skin. It releases hormones through the skin into the bloodstream to prevent pregnancy. They have a combination of hormones progesterone and estrogen in the patch, which prevents ovulation. As the last method mentioned, this doesn't prevent any STDs. Now we have the female condom, which is an external method. This acts as a barrier to sperm and many sexually transmitted infections by completely lining the vagina. It has two rings, one at the closed end of the shed, which lies inside the vagina, and the other ring is at the open end of the shed, which lies outside the vagina and after it has been inserted. This protects against pregnancy and some STIs, but not all of them. So it is very important to take into account that you should never use male condom at the same time that the other partner is using a female condom. Here we have the diaphragm. This prevents pregnancy by creating a barrier between the woman's uterus and the man's sperm. It is reusable and has a dome-shaped form like you can see in the picture. Its effectiveness is about 88%, which is kind of low compared to the others, and can cost from $0 to $75 depending on the clinic or the site you get it. Some ways of raising its effectiveness, as I said before, is not very effective, is to use spermicides with it and having the partner to wear a condom. And it is also very important to take into account that this method does not protect against STDs, so a condom is very needed as well. Now we have the tubal ligation. This is a surgical procedure that is made to prevent pregnancy. During this surgery, both fallopian tubes are blocked or cut. As you can see in the image, there are many different ways in which they leave these tubes, and it is usually done at the hospital or a clinic that is specialized in these methods. Now we have some male methods to prevent pregnancies and STDs. Now under the male methods, first we have the male condom, which is the most famous and most used and common one. This is the only method that can prevent pregnancy and protect against STDs at the same time. It is 98% effective, and its price on the market can vary as there are many brands, but you can get free ones at sexual health or contraception clinics. As I said before, it is important to check the condoms, like never reuse the condom and always check its expiration date. They also need to be stored at safe places, not too cold nor too warm, and never use two condoms, like a male condom and a female condom at the same time because of the friction. Most other birth control methods do not provide much protection against STDs, so whether you're using a diaphragm or any other method, you should also use a condom. Then we have the vasectomy. This is one of the most effective kind of birth control, and it has almost 100% of preventive pregnancy. It is an important thing to take into account that this doesn't work right away. Like, just because you got this surgery, the next week you're going to be unable to make a girl pregnant. No, it doesn't work like that. It takes about 3 months for semen to become sperm-free, so the subject should not have unprotected sex until the doctor tells him that the vasectomy is working and it is all good. This doesn't protect against STDs because semen can still carry diseases even if this doesn't contain sperm. Also, there are some STDs like herpes that only require skin-to-skin contact to acquire.